Hey everyone, it's Pick for Life. Sorry for this slightly delayed start. I needed to find a cable for my iPhone that was long enough, so just in case we go long, my battery won't die halfway through. Really, this is just gonna be as quick as possible a live stream, really to answer questions, let you guys see stuff that you guys are really curious about that you may have not have seen in some of the other reviews. We're gonna go ahead and kind of jump right into it and try to get through it very quickly. All right, as quickly as I can for this complicated figure. We're not going to do a full review, but this is the box. Very big, very nice looking. That classic movie pose from the '86 movie where he's going on a rampage. As you would expect, a lot of great promo shots on the back. There's a lot of fun playability all over the place with all the accessories and so forth. So you're really getting a lot of playability features that we're going to talk about. I think hopefully that will justify some people's price tag of this. So we will do some brief comparisons with some other. Oh, actually, let me brighten this up a bit with some other figures as well. But I'm going to actually do a detailed comparison between this guy, MP10, Magic Square, and Transform Element over the next coming days. So let me just try to get this huge clamshell in here without everything like kind of falling out. But as you can see, you get a whole bunch of stuff in here. You get a bunch of heads at the top left. You get some minifigures. You get the Matrix. You have the Starscream accessories, blast effects, weapons, etc., etc. And we'll eventually get to all those. But let's first bring out the trailer and Prime himself. Accessory wise, we'll leave the rest in here for now and we'll get to it one at a time. Like I said, I want to make sure I focus most of this review, or at least this live stream, on the main part of the body, and my detailed full review as well as comparison review will come at a later date. So let me make sure I'm seeing these questions here. All right. Hey, MP Collector. Hey, Rugelhide. All right. So this is what he looks like in alt mode. Before we do anything, let's do a quick comparison. The only MP10 mold I have currently in alt mode for comparison, everything else is in robot mode because I think most people are interested in that, is the MP10 Year of the Horse. So as you can see, as far as actual size, very similar in scale. A little bit smaller of a flat bed back here, but you can see just how just how messy this bed is. And one thing you might notice early on is right out of the packaging, I had a scratch right here. And mine has kind of a hard time keeping all together, so you might see me get a little bit frustrated there in the alt mode. But as far as colors and kind of anime or cartoon accuracy, this looks really nice. I don't know if I would say it's a better alt mode, but looking at it at least from this much forward, I think it does have some redeeming qualities. But like I said, my tabs don't really hold on that well here. I gotta constantly try to adjust them and get them on. They don't seem to work, and you can see that kind of breaks up the look of the figure itself. When I do get it tabbed together, I can barely get it to roll without running into clearance issues. Come on, here we go. I think that's tabbed together. I can barely get it to roll without clearance issues. Like right now, I can't get it to roll. You can see these back wheels aren't rolling. And when I do, it gently has a little bit of a skirk noise as it drags across. Not a huge deal. My biggest complaint is just all this kibble in the back. And see, I can't even like kind of close this gap here without everything kind of like popping apart. So to say the least, the first impressions in alt mode are not the best. As far as how the trailer works, is very simple. You have a little connection here that goes into this tab in the middle. And as you would expect, it does the same thing. It rolls around. It doesn't have like the nice detailing with the stripes here. It just has the white line, again, trying to be as anime or cartoon accurate as possible. Same thing with this logo here, which does look really nice. trailer-wise, you can open this up like we did with the other trailer. And as with the other trailer, these kind of feet will automatically ratchet down or gear down. Oh, I guess speaking of which, we should do a quick comparison of those two. As far as size, just like MP10 and his MP-44 upgrade, size-wise, they're very similar in terms of length, in terms of width, in terms of height. Everything like that is pretty similar. Again, they had a same kind of ratcheting feature, same kind of legs down here that come out. So as far as that goes, nothing much different. The doors are the same. The ramp is essentially the same, although this one's a little bit longer. It really is in the details of the inside, which we'll look into, that you'll start noticing the differences. Oh, great. T-Man, you can answer a lot of questions while I'm trying to get through that. T-Man, obviously, one of our good buddies here. He's already done a great review. Check that out if you haven't on his page. Don't forget to subscribe so that he'll cut my grass. This trailer here will open up like that. So we'll get into the details of this stuff in a little. Well, should we do that now? I guess we can. You can open this up, and then you can see what it looks like. There's a lot more stuff that goes in here, but yeah, let's look at that a little bit later. All right, let's focus on this guy first. So the only accessories that really make much of a difference to him in alt mode is this gun, essentially. It's this blaster. What you can do is fold it up. It doesn't fold up like that auto transform before, but it does fold up like so. You can fold this back, and you use this little piece here, this little piece of kibble. You can see it folds out, and it's kind of an I-beam, and it goes onto this slot here. You can do it either way, but really this is the quote-unquote storage you get. Yeah, that's really the only playability you have in this mode. I thought you might be able to peg it into some like these slots or something like that, but no, nothing like that, unfortunately. So nothing else works, nothing underneath. As far as the undercarriage, you do see typical, what's it called, Optimus style, where you have the legs in the back, and then you get some of the grill. He also has a second faux grill, just like MP10, but it's a little bit different. Yeah, KO Dave, you can also store the gun into the trailer as well, but we're just talking about the main cab right now. All right, so let's just go straight into transformation, because there's, again, I think you guys are most interested in that, as well as the robot mode. So let's go that. I still function. The whole figure is mostly painted, I would say. I would say like most of this, I think all of this red here, but there's parts of the blue and some of the insides that aren't painted. But as far as overall finish, this is definitely a really, really nicely finished version. Definitely the best one we've had. That does come with its ups and downs in the sense that the paint does chip, especially when you're transforming it. So just be very careful. And like I said, this one just came out of a packaging with a big gash here, which I'm definitely going to try to get a replacement for that because it is on the leg in robot mode. So transformation wise, I was pleasantly surprised. He's not as crazy as I thought he was going to be. There's a lot of stuff you have to do, but it's all fairly like intuitive in the sense that it's types of transformations that you're used to, you know, folding panels and lots of tabs to secure everything into place. I was comparing it to TE Transform Elements Prime with T-Man, who's in the thread, as well as TM Reviews. And what we were saying, well, at least what I was saying, is that this one just has standard transformation and engineering, so everything kind of works. But if you look at like Transform Element, they use really unique things that if you've never seen in any other Transformer before, which is why it makes it really kind of hard. So anyway, as T-Man says, I'll go ahead and start. I guess since we're in here, the only other playability that we have is opening the door, which is actually kind of hard to get to. You can open the door and get the minifigs in here. The minifigs are pretty good, except Spike. Spike. Oh, this is the wrong Spike. Where's the Spike? Yeah, this minifig is the worst of the bunch. He tends to have his little ball joints everywhere pop off, so you have to handle him very gingerly. And he's kind of bow-legged, so you can kind of just throw him in like that. Close it up. But be very careful. The other ones, like Harley and Sparkplug, are pretty good, but Spike just seems to have issues. So yeah, let's close that up. First thing we'll do is come to the side here, and you'll see this little slot here. You can just pull on that to release the tabs, which are all over the place on the basically the entire side of the cab. I'm going to do this a little bit differently from the instructions, just because I think the way I do it is a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and split the legs too, and bring this all the way open. What I like to do first is actually extend the leg out by bringing this up, folding this around, and then you do this double hinge extension that goes up like this. You bring this inner panel around. You have to flip this little tiny gap filler piece up, and then you basically just tab this into the leg. The reason why I do that, it just stabilizes the leg so everything's not, because there's a bunch of hinges here, and so stuff isn't just flopping around all over the place. So go ahead and fill that up. Flip that up, sorry. The next thing I do, which is out of order from the instructions, is to bring this up on this double hinge to line up with the back of the leg. Again, the reason I do that is because it stabilizes stuff and makes things in alignment where you kind of see how everything folds into place. So now we can kind of get back into the regular transformation. So they have you go halfway down where this hinge is. They want you to bring this down, get this gas tank piece, flip it around on this pin, fold this up, fold this around like so, and these small pieces will fold in 90 degrees each. So they're both like this. You want to fold them both 90 degrees. So this one's kind of flat like that, and this one's on the inside. I think that's right. Oh no, this one has to go all the way down like this as well. All right, so from here, you can fold this all the way back on the back of the cab, bring this up, and I like to flip this piece. Oh, yeah, flip this piece around like that. Was it the other way? Oh, now I'm forgetting. You're supposed to flip it 180 degrees. Oh yeah, there we go. Flip it like that. Get this piece up, and then you're basically flipped around 180 degrees. From here, you're gonna slot this in here, and you'll see these panel lines kind of all line up. This piece comes up, the gas tank, the second gas tank, the faux gas tank, comes down and pegs in here, and then this all just kind of closes up. Get that up. Come on. There we go. And there's a whole bunch of beefy tabs, like this one here and some on the inside. There's one here on the front of the shin that lock everything securely into place. So I will say for sure that things do lock and tab into place very well on this guy. All right. And the last thing we do up here, and this one is actually kind of worrisome. The clearance here, you just kind of fold this down, but I feel like I'm just chipping away at the plastic every time I do it. See, this alignment sometimes doesn't end up working out. So like right here, I feel like I'm forcing that into place. Anyway, the leg's almost done. Bring the toe forward. The heel will come out, rotate around. This little gap filler will open up like this, and then you have the foot done. That's one leg. So same thing on the other side. Like I said, we're gonna do it my way. We're gonna open this up. We're gonna flip this up. The trailer hitch will flip around. Extend this kind of Combiner Wars. If you collect first party stuff, Combiner Wars kind of made that popular with the leg extension. Bring this around. This tab on the inside will open up. Don't forget the little gap fillers. They have a few of these on the leg. Sorry, I know the comments are flying, but I'm really trying to focus on getting this clearly illustrated here. So there we go. So like I said, this stabilizes the whole area so it's not flopping around. I'm going to bring this piece up, and that brings this whole area as well. So now we can go ahead and again just focus on this half. All right, so bring this down. Rotate this piece first. This gas tank, the window. This will come all the way around. Kind of snugly fits into place, and flip these all around like that. We're going to fold this in on itself. Let's go ahead and flip this section up while we do so. Come on. Why isn't this? This should flip. Oh, that's why. Okay, flip this up and then rotate this around like that. This will slot in here, and then the leg will just all kind of come together. So the engineering on the leg is really cool. I don't think it's perfect because you do get a lot of like kibble and red pieces peeking out, and it's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle because you see like lines everywhere that are not part of the mold, right? So lines here and lines here. So that's one of the things I really don't like about this transformation or like this look, is that the cool engineering that they have results in kind of like a choppy looking leg. Bring the gas tank around, tab into the leg. All right. Foot up, panel filler out, heel into place. All right, so we have half of it done. Coming to the top here, one of the first things we'll do is kind of untab this little section. All right, that will loosen everything up. You can get these hip skirts on the sides down, these in the back down, and then this piece that was holding the gun can ultimately be used in robot mode as well, but you're going to flip this down and cover his butt with that. All right, so coming up to the front, I actually like doing the arms and just getting them out of the way. It's just a lot easier in my mind to just do that instead of having them come later. So let's just pull the arms out for now. They're on a series of hinges that give you a ton of articulation in robot mode. But you do want to pull them out just a little bit on this hinge too, because you're going to need that area to fold some stuff in. So let's just deal with the arms. You pull out on the arm, and this is actually pretty cool. The gas tank flips back and then locks it in so it can't sink back in. So unlike MP10, this one's just going to lock into place here. Rotate it 90 degrees, push this in to fill that gap, and then the fist also rotates kind of cool. Everything kind of rotates on this panel. Tabs in here. This panel flips open. You do have to rotate the fist here. You can't just, well, I mean, you could, but you're going to possibly damage your figure. So make sure to rotate your wrist into the proper orientation first. Bring this around and then push on that so it there is a little tab that locks it into place there. So that's one arm. Same thing with the other arm. Extend it out. Lock it down by rotating this gas tank backwards. Sorry about all the squeaking. Yeah, TE is a very involved transformation, but like I said, I think this one is more like, I don't want to say intuitive because it does take like 70 steps to transform him as far as the manual goes. But like I said, it's all things that feel kind of familiar. Unlike TE. TE, you're like, what the heck's going on? This is kind of crazy what's going on here. This does have a little bit of that coming up. All right, so now we can just deal with the main body now. We'll go ahead and grab this center section, lift that up. These two side sections are on double hinges. We can lift that up. And then we pull out on this entire front section. So pull that out. You can see this all kind of flips up. It kind of explodes. It looks kind of crazy right now. So while I'm here, I'm gonna show you a couple of things. Don't rotate the windows yet. You're gonna need these in this position because these little gap fillers need that clearance. Because if you flip it around now, well, first you'll get interference, but going the other way, you won't be able to transform this correctly. All right. Back here, I'm gonna go ahead and get the backpack out and up. And this is where I haven't perfected the transformation yet since I've only had it for a few hours. You do need this kind of out of the way, but you do need to deal with this kind of abdomen section here first. So you want to pull up because it's tabbed into this matrix holder. You want to pull up towards the front of the cab, towards the grill, to release those tabs. You're going to come out to the side. You're going to flip in, pull out on this, rotate it around, and then flip in the wheel, just the wheel portion. Oh, sorry. One thing I forgot. You do actually have to slide down on these little sliders first. Sorry about that. Rotate these out and then push them in. That will create the kind of oblique sections. Like so. And then you can see how these will come up to the side. But we're going to deal with that later. You do want to pull this matrix holder out, and you're going to want to pull this blue piece all the way back like so. All right, now we're going to deal with the rest of the back. So this piece that we flipped forward, it kind of reminds me of, what was it, the Age of Extinction Optimus Prime, the rusty one or whatever, the evasion one, because it has a similar kind of thing that transforms in the middle. So you want to bring this back like this. Be very careful when you bring it out because there is tight clearances on the head. All right, so once you clear that out, you can bring out these gap fillers to the top here. Then you can rotate these up. That's a really cool use of the windows, how they're dual-sided to be more accurate for both robot and alt mode. So again, the reason why you had to bring these butterfly shoulders out is because when this flips around, this piece here won't be able to move if you have this butterfly joint all the way in. So you need to move these out of the way. Once they're out of the way, you can come back in and they kind of lock those into place. So now you can bring these back in and lock that backpack into place. All right, now we can bring these side sections up. The chest, again, making sure this blue piece is flat down like that. This tab piece kind of resides in here. So you're gonna push up in that, push that in, and then you can close the windows. There we go. All right, now we just have to deal with the backpack and we're almost done. Flip these in inwards like this. Same thing with these. These also have small little sections here that kind of make those rounded sections on the back of the animation prime. And then flip this down like so. This thing on a double hinge will come down. Lift up the neck panel right here because this little, I guess, hook is going to hook onto this piece here. So that's how everything is secured. You can see that securely locks into place. And then you can push this down to add additional kind of like a locking in there. All right, I know a lot of people have problems with the waist. The instructions say like to keep this open and try to put it in first. I don't think that is the best way at all. I haven't been able to do that, not even once. So I would say the way I've done it is to just fold this up and tab it into place like you normally would anyway. Bring this back down and then pull down on the front. And it tabs in just fine. I don't know why the instructions say the other way. Other folks seem to have shown different ways, but from my experience, that is the single easiest way to do it reliably and easily without feeling like you're forcing something. And with that, we have MP-44 in robot mode. Hopefully that wasn't too painful of a transformation. And let's do a quick 360 on this mode. Okay, I know I missed a lot of questions. All right. All right, let's just keep going. All right, so this is what he looks like in robot mode, doing a quick 360. A couple complaints. Obviously, everyone's already talked about the backpack. It is very sizable. It isn't the worst of backpacks. It tries to at least keep some kind of round profile that kind of natural. The other thing I noticed, and it might be a minor quibble, is that his hips are really far forward, like in his thighs. His thighs are basically lined up with his chest here, and his head is like way far back in comparison. Like I would think that the legs would be kind of centered here, but I guess the T-Man thinks it's kind of like the anime hip thrust look that they like to do, where his hips are usually, or his thighs are usually angling back dramatically, and then you just give him kind of a crotch thrust naturally. That's not how I pose my figures, so it's not. I don't know. It's not really obtrusive, but once you see it, it's hard not to unsee. Like if you draw a line down the center of his head, it comes down to like the back half of his thigh, and if you draw a line from his chest down, it's basically the front of the thigh. So very, very kind of weird. All right, but anyway, the backpack is a bit obtrusive, but like most people will say, you're not going to really see it. So this is what you're really looking for, and I think this looks really quite nice. More than anything, what I'm enjoying about this figure are like the subtle like throwbacks to the animation model. Like his arms aren't actually perfect rectangles. They have slight curves or angles like that make them thinner at the near the elbow and stuff like that. He does have the kind of smaller shoulders, and just things like that. Those subtle touches make it feel that much more accurate than say MP10 or even TE, right? So let's just do the quick comparisons and get those out of the way. Let's first bring him out with his Nemesis Megatron. This is, was it MP36? Yeah, 36. Oh, sorry. Let me get the angle up a little bit. So they both have kind of the lankier look. So I think they look quite well. They look quite good together as far as a unit, right? I do think he's a little thin, but again, trying to get into that die-hard anime accurate look, I think these do kind of fit that bill. And he also has his own, not so big of a backpack, but definitely a kibbly backpack. All right, let me put him away. All right, so other comparisons that we have. So here he is with my favorite Prime, and I do say that including this MP-44. I do think overall that I prefer TE Prime for a number of different reasons. Mostly, I think he's cleaner looking. Obviously, no backpack whatsoever. He does have the silver butt, and he's just clean. Look at like the lower body, like his lower legs. They don't look like a whole bunch of mechanical stuff just popping out and red peeking out. And I think overall, this guy is still going to be my MP Prime on my shelf. And this guy will still be on display somewhere, just not on my MP shelf with my Autobots. We'll do a more detailed comparison with him. Magic Square, who's right here. This guy is kind of the more, if you like the buff look of your Prime, you can see just how different it is. And again, the subtleties of like the curvatures of the arms can kind of be seen here as well, which is why I kind of like the Magic Square model. But like the overall proportions and finish are definitely way better on this guy than on Magic Square. And the head sculpt's quite nice too. This one's obviously like the movie. This one's more like MP10. Speaking of MP10, the only MP10 in robot mode that I currently have is a custom one, so excuse the comparison. I don't even think I have a Hasbro version, Hasbro US coloring version. So obviously it's not a fair comparison. This is a custom, so the paint is not what it's supposed to be. But you can see this one is definitely an upgrade, especially if you're looking for anime accuracy. As far as the backpack, he's always had a backpack as well. Not as much in like the lower section, but he still had a backpack. He did have more clean legs, but his wheels were showing. So, and of course, the gorilla arms is something that is definitely showing its how dated this design is, just how big the forearms are and how long they are. He definitely looks like a mix of truck and monkey. That said, I still really like MP10. I think even now he's still a very respectable figure. But as far as this mode, you can really see the paint shine here. The arms are really nice and glossy. You got the chest. The face sculpt is really excellent. The details here, it is all gray. The blue, the white. The white is definitely a throwback to the cartoon being like pure white, as opposed to it being kind of a, I don't know, like a substitute for silver. So if you like that, you're going to have that here. But he does feature that nice chrome here and on here and on the side gas tanks. So as far as articulation goes, he does have a ball jointed head. And he has that neck hinge, so if you need him to look down at somebody, you can do that. He does have ratcheted joints here, softly ratcheted. And his shoulder ratchets are really excellent. They're nice and buttery, and there are a lot of detents to give you a lot of different angles. Bicep swivel that goes 360. Nice deep elbow bend. His wrist is on a swivel, but also on a hinge, so you can get a little bit of inward action. His fingers are with, I guess, 2 knuckles articulated on the middle ring and pinky, and then 1 extra knuckle. Oh no, same amount, but a separately articulated pointer finger, sorry. The thumb is just on a single hinge, so same thing as we got with Megatron. All right, let's go to the chest. So he does have a bit of a waist swivel here. It is kind of obstructed, but what you do is you can do a couple of things. So I don't know, I haven't watched very many reviews. A lot of people are showing that you have to like break this up to actually start using the waist swivel or to do an ab crunch. That's actually not correct. So back here, there's another connection back here that brings the ab crunch out. So I'll show it to you now. So this is locked into place. If you pull down on this way, so you can see that this front part is still connected. But this back piece, which you can see a lot of blue paint rubbing off on, that is his ab crunch. And then from there, you can still get a bunch of articulation. So if that was one of your concerns, don't be too concerned about that. He does have a separate ab crunch, separate from that joint here. And since we have this open, you can also see that he has a little bit of a wiggle here at this joint. So he actually can tilt side to side. That's not like a play. That actually seems like it was by design. It is very little, but it is enough to kind of emote some extra detail. One of the things that people have really enjoyed so far with the hip skirts, not these so much, is the front one. Instead of having to flip this up, it's actually on a separate rotation, so that when you bring this leg up, it's actually spring-loaded. You can see it kind of hides back into the hips to give you more kicking range than any Optimus really should have justifiable reason to have. I don't know who he's high kicking, but he can definitely do like a line dance or something like that. Nice and ratcheted. It is pretty solid, but it's not so tight that it's going to hold up if you start shaking it. But don't shake your figure. It's definitely solid enough to hold a pose. He does have a thigh swivel, which TE is sadly missing. And then he has 2 points of articulation in the knee. He has an upper knee, which is ratcheted. You can hear that here. And the other one is a lower joint here, which is a friction, which is where people have been having a lot of concerns. I haven't felt anything with it yet, but I was aware of it. I don't see it. People are saying it's this plastic that's causing the issue. So just be careful regardless of whether you think you're confident or not with your version. But for example, if we just use the top knee joint, you get about that much. You really need to use the lower knee joint in addition to the upper knee joint to get this really, really nice knee bend. And that way you can do nice kneeling poses if you'd like. Very stable. So just be careful about that. I don't really like this, how some people really like the knee and the engineering there. I don't really understand it. I think it breaks up the look a lot, both here and here. You're going to see into the inner red sections anyways. But yeah, it's up to you whether you think that's acceptable or not. All right, coming down to the leg, he does have kind of an ankle tilt. It's like a faux foot here, I guess, part of the foot, or has a tilt. He does have ratchet going down, which is very nice, and ratchet going up. It's a nice addition. He doesn't have he does kind of have like a separate quote unquote toe, I guess, but it's really just another section of the foot because it's tied to the heel as well. So I guess you can say he has 2 different tilts for his feet. This whole foot, including this kind of cover, and then a little separate one for the toe. Just as an aside, before I looked at the instructions thoroughly, I actually thought this was supposed to go like this, and he was going to have kind of like a beefier heel. So I guess you could still use it that way, but you're going to lose a little bit of articulation. So if you find yours kind of stumbling over, you can do this kind of alternate transformation on the heel. All right, so I think that covers all the articulation. I will go into the other bonus stuff that he has. First and foremost, if you open up this backpack here and you open up this little compartment, you're going to need 3 LR44 batteries. I'm not going to show that off. I'll show that off in the full review, but you just plug that in and close that back up. You have a little on switch right here on the right side. Now he's on, and then on the opposite side, he has a button for all the different voices. And he has he has a ton of different sounds and sound clips, and he also has 6 different modes. So he has a bunch that go through, and I don't watch the Japanese anime, so I don't know why there's 5 different Japanese ones and 1 English mode. I think in MP Megatron, the Beast Wars Megatron, he had one that he typically said stuff in beast mode and lines he typically said in robot mode. So that kind of made sense. I don't know why there's 6. Maybe somebody can really explain that to me. You think his head sits too low? I mean, like I said, you can lift it up with this little hinge here. So if you think it sits too low, you can definitely bring it a little bit higher. I mean, that does make it look kind of weird there, but you are able to do that. It's kind of weird that was one question that I saw randomly while looking down. But like I said, he has a bunch. To switch between the 6 modes, question so far, can you demonstrate the knee movement? Can legs be put together? Which parts are die cast? Okay, so you can put the legs together, kind of like this. I don't think that, yeah, they don't tab together, but you can bring them pretty close together like that. He has a bunch of die cast, especially in the inner working sections here. Like I said, this joint in here is die cast. All this section here. What other parts are die cast, actually? I don't think... Oh, I think maybe his toe is? I'm not sure. I'm trying to feel for kind of like the cool pieces. I mean, he definitely has die cast. He does have a nice heft to him. I should have brought a scale. I mean, I'll do a scale in my review and the comparison so you guys can see how he weighs or stacks up. He is fairly hefty. Definitely not the heftiest of all the MPs, but definitely heftier than, say, MP10, heftier than Magic Square. I don't think he's heftier than TE. Yeah, I would say he's definitely way heavier. But I'll put that on the scale in the comparison review. He weighs almost the same amount as Masterpiece Megatron, according to T-Man. All right, what were the other questions? Can demonstrate the knee movement? Yeah, I already showed the knee movement. So, like I said, there's ratchets at the upper joint and then a friction at the lower joint. And the lower friction joint is the one I think people are having issues with. So just be careful there. So yeah, to switch between the modes, you have to hold this button for several seconds until you hear one of the transformation sounds. Okay. More Japanese. Transforming back. Another Japanese. And some of them were really long with like awkward pauses in between you, so you'll be thinking that they're done, but he'll pause and start talking again. Yeah, see? That was an awkward pause. You're like, okay, he's done. I'm going to switch. What is it? Mode 4? Mode 5? I don't know. We'll know we get to mode 6 because all the English-speaking folks on here will be happy. There we go. It is so cool that they included the US voice box for the voice clips for this. The downside is they're almost all, I think all of them are from like the movies, like more recent Peter Cullen voice clips, not from the original series. Like even that One Shall Stand, One Shall Fall is not the one from the movie. Yeah, and he never said that in the original series as far as I remember. Yes. And still an iconic Peter Cullen voice. It's just that obviously his voice did change. He made a thoughtful change for the live action movies. Yeah. So I think he only has 3 of the US voice clips. So I'll turn that off because when I end up handling him, I often accidentally mess with that. So there we go there. The blaster. He has a couple areas you can store it in. You can bring the handle down. He has these 2 sections here where, these 2 slots here where this tab can go on. So you can mount it to the side here or that side. If you want to hide it around his butt again, use that same I-beam and slide it on either way, here or this way, whichever way you want to do it. So it doesn't have the cool out of the back mode that MP10 had, but that's fine. If you want to use it as a regular gun, as you would expect, it has the MP style tab and slot. It doesn't actually solidly hold it. It's more of kind of a guide, but with the fingers friction, it should be more than enough. KO Dave said he's 425 grams, and I'm pretty sure T-Man also did a weighing in his review as well. Would you prefer feet like TE? Yeah, I mean, I definitely prefer the TE feet. Like, it's just a cleaner look. The only thing that's really bad about TE is that you see this pin joint here. But, like, all this is like a solid foot, not just, like, gappy stuff. He has a real foot that tilts in and stuff like that. So, I mean, I'll get into more of it later, but in a later comparison. But, yeah, like I said, the TE is still my current favorite Masterpiece style Optimus. My antenna is also a little bit bent, so I'm gonna have to get like a heat gun or a hair dryer and straighten that out. All right, so let's talk about other accessories. Speaking of his head, the head changing mechanism is very simple. No screws necessary. You just pull forward on the head, and it has a peg and kind of a rail system, so you can get the quote unquote round head, which I guess is more I guess I would say this is more Headmasters looking-ish. I would more anime-ish. Has smaller eyes, but it slides on. He also has the battle damage one, which somebody was saying is actually not from the movie, but it's more accurate to the damage that he did in like the Dark Awakening episode, which I'm honestly not. I don't know that level of detail. Oh, this one's not. There we go. For some reason, it wasn't sliding on. Yeah, I would say the detail does kind of look like Dark Awakening, specifically the face mask, but you can use it for the movie as we're recreating the movie scene as well, since we have that Megatron set of accessories. Man, this one's super tight. Last up is the face with Starscream. So Starscream will have a blue back of the head, but you can have his smirking face, which is a really nice looking Starscream head sculpt. You also get his intakes, which I never understood in that episode how he took off his helmet and then these intakes kind of just like showed up. But to use this, you want to pull forward on the head, you want to pull back on that kind of hook that I mentioned before, and you're going to slide this on that. Come on. Slide that on there and then tab it back or hook it back into place. There we go. So if you got all the monies, you can recreate that scene by getting 2 of these, or just having him and one of maybe your MP-10 standing next to each other. Yeah, watch T-Man's review. Mine won't be out for a little while. If you drop him on the floor from 10 feet, how many pieces? I'm not gonna find out. All right, so let's go ahead and bring this back off. Slide this out. You can also slide the head forward. Let's get his original head back on there. All right, what other accessories does he have for robot mode? He does have his jetpack. The way the jetpack works is you have this little hook section, there's a little slot there, and then there's tabs on the back that coincide with slots in these gray pieces. Coincidentally, if you have his gun, you can fold the handle up, peg it into this random slot they have back here, or this way. Just to be clear, this tab is the same tab as both of the tabs that we have for his refueling thing. So I guess you can do this, and then almost looks like a proton pack. If you guys like the MP-10G Ghostbuster crossover that they just came out with, you can kind of do that. I missed it twice and was not able to get one 2 days in a row, even though I was there at 12:01 or 12:02 both days. Since we're here, we do have some blast effects. These work with the blaster, but they also work with the jetpack. So when he takes the jetpack from Sideswipe. Do you think there's a way to remove the backpack? I'm assuming you mean the backpack, not the jetpack. I guess theoretically you could take off a bunch of it. So let's see here. So what you could do is pop that pin off here, and then you could probably get rid of just some of the extra kibble here without taking off everything, because you kind of want to leave some of this on here. But I would imagine you could probably maybe remove this screw. I don't know what exactly you could keep on here. I mean, would this be acceptable to you? If you remove this, if you remove the voice box, you can just pop this pin out here and you'd be good to go, or even remove these screws and just have this hinge sitting up there. But you could also remove this section here with a pin that goes through just this top bumper section. So you do have options if you're willing to pop pins off of your you know, $450 figure or whatever you paid for him, more power to you. I'm not gonna do that. All right. Yeah, so the blast effect also works on his gun. I guess I could have shown that off. Like so. So I haven't looked at this, but I wonder if it looks like you pull this hose off, but it doesn't look like the blast effect would work there anyway. All right. What other stuff in robot mode? Like I said, he has a ton of stuff. Other accessory, you do get his Energon axe. How you remove it is not to remove the hand, which is pinned in. Be careful, don't just yank that out. He has kind of the back of his hand has a little section here. You want to pull that out, and it has a little kind of C clip, and you tab that in like so. And he actually does have some articulation on that, as well as the wrist itself. It does look nice. It has the kind of glowing effect, like this is like the actual axe, and this looks like the Energon glow around it or something like that. Whatever you want to do with it. It does work with both hands, so you got that going on if that's what you want to do. Recreate that bridge scene. He also has a battle damage side piece. This is obvious from the movie. You don't replace the piece. You just use this slot here and add this on. So he has a slightly thicker left side that is battle damage. You would think, you know, with the extra armor that he has on that side, he wouldn't be so easily damaged, but he is. All right, what else can we go to? So we talked about the other minifigs. Here's Sparkplug. Oh, I didn't talk about articulation. Well, they all have like a tiny ball jointed head, I think. I think it's ball jointed. Maybe not. Maybe this is just a hinge. I thought Spike's was ball jointed. Yeah, his is definitely ball jointed. Why is his not ball jointed? Anyway, they have ball jointed shoulders. Oh, that pop off fairly easily. Sparkle is actually usually pretty good. He does actually have a ball jointed in the waist or midsection, and the legs, and then a little hinge joint at the knee. One thing that we'll show off in a bit is they all have tiny magnets on the bottom of their feet. Why do they have tiny magnets? We'll find out. Unless you've already seen a bunch of other reviews. In which case we will not find out. Alright, we do have Carly. I don't really give a crap about her, but we have her. Just like the other figures that we got previously, with like Spike, they have no details on the face. But they do scale in the same general size, although they are a lot skinnier, I would say. All right, what else do we have? Oh, the Matrix. So the Matrix is the same mold that we got before. I think the colors are slightly different, but in general, the size and the molding, and actually the chroming on this, the diecast, this is diecast, the chroming on this is actually worse than the ones we got previously, or at least the ones I have. So you just open this up, make him hold his chest open if you'd like. And then he has a pseudo matrix chamber like the movie. Not really. TE also did that better. And you can just plug that in there. I will say that this one fits in better than it did with MP10. If you remember, the MP10 one often caused the chest to gap out. So it does fit in quite nicely there. All right, so the only stuff that we have left to talk about really is the trailer, and we did look at that just a little bit before. Let's see if I can keep him from falling. But there is actually a lot of stuff going on with this trailer as far as playability. So the first thing is we talked about this. The magnets on all these kind of like gridded sections here. They have magnets. I don't know about here. Yeah, even on here. So anything that looks kind of shiny like gunmetal, they can stand on here no problem. Woo! The inner details aren't as nice as the MP10 trailer, I would say, but it's fine. I mean, I really don't care about the inside of the trailer, to be honest. Let's bring out Roller, because we didn't talk about him. For some reason, you can go ahead and have Sparkplug or whoever working on Roller as if they understand Cybertronian technology. But you can do that. They can sit inside, either backwards or forwards. Doesn't matter, they're not driving anyway. This back section here does have a little translucent piece. This piece flips up, and as you see here, there's a couple of things going on. These two slots allow you to make use of this energon stuff, or I guess, as we said before, the blaster, ion blaster, when the handles flip back, is the same slot. So you can do that. You can put the gun with the handle like this, but I thought you could do it like this. Oh no, that groove is for the trailer. So same thing with MP-44. He has a little trailer piece. Oh, fold these up. You can just plug that in, and we're good. All right, lastly, we can bring in the control center thingy. I don't know what it's called. It does roll, and it transforms itself. So it can go like this. It can go up. Has articulating joints here. It does double as a figure stand. The way to transform it into the base, though, is you flip those wheels in, flip these pieces out. Oh, actually, I guess we should have shown this first. With Roller, you can flip out this piece here, and that can slot in underneath. Another I-beam like so, if you really needed your Roller to do that. Again, a lot of playability. They're doing that a lot with the MP line nowadays, but a lot of it to me is like kind of superfluous. I don't know why we need all that. While we're here, this guy can extend his guns, and I believe I don't know, do the blast effects work on this too? Yep, they do. The cockpit does open. These arms do articulate. Hinges here, can rotate or swivel there. The claw can open. Doesn't swivel, but you do have that option to bring it out and hang out underneath. When you do that, you should rotate it this way. The reason being is that when you rotate it like this, there's just a little bit of a groove in there, an indentation to let you sit that claw in like that. All right, so with these little grooves, you can slot this in and slide it in to lock it into place. And as with the original G1 toy, you can kind of move these pieces down. And so you can have this peeking out to the top. You can also have it peeking out through the front by rotating it outwards. But they apparently want you to rotate this and slot it in this way if you want him to be peeking out to the front, like so. And again, you can close that up as needed. Other stuff that's going on. Oh, you can even slot it in and have it kind of like peeking out at the top. I don't remember half of this ever being used, but you can do that. I'm not even going to bother showing it. That's how pointless I feel like it is. But you can go ahead and do it into the repair bay. As before, put that in. The one cool thing that they did add this time around is when you turn it into repair bay, you can pull these sections down, and they're platforms, so that you can have your people, and again, they're magnetized so that you can have your folks standing on the repair bay. They have 2 little slots for the gun or the refueling stations. So you can only put 2 of them in at once, but you do have that option. Roller, just like in the original G1 toy, can slot in here. It doesn't have that spring-loaded mechanism where he shoots out, but he does slot in and stay secure in place. Get these guys down. What did I miss? Oh, since it is the same size as kind of like the MP-10 trailer, if you do have an MP Carbot, you can get him to come up the ramp, and he's just fine. I didn't transform this, that's why it's all tipping over, but they can ride up just fine and get in there as long as Roller's not in there. I think that's mostly it. So let's go ahead and show the 2 last features that I can think of. And again, there's so much. You can tell just how much thought has been going into this. So again, the playability feature, there's a lot. If you like all this kind of stuff, you can kind of see where all this extra money's going to. For me, most of this stuff I'm never going to use. Like this feature is actually nice. So we've kind of seen something like this before. This part slides out in the back, and it acts as storage for all your, well, not all, most of your accessories. So this battle damage piece goes here, and 2, not 3, of your extra heads can store up here. So I don't know what you're going to do with your 3rd one. Starscream's intakes also don't go anywhere. But at least you have storage for this stuff. The stuff that you'll probably end up using at some point down the line. Even the blast effects can store in here. Again, kind of just a cool bonus feature, I guess, but not wholly necessary. And then you can go ahead and obviously slide that back in here. Yeah, sorry I'm not haven't been answering any questions. This is kind of like defeated the purpose of doing a live stream, but I'm sure T-Man and here this one keeps falling out. I'm sure T-Man or TM Reviews or both of them have been answering questions. They're good like that. Do you think he's durable and will last? Does his jetpack fit sideswipe? Does it save the sound mode after turning off? So after turning off, it doesn't save, as far as I know. So when we go back, it should be Japanese now. Yeah, see? So you basically go back from square one, and you have to go through 6 iterations or change 5 times to get to the 6 mode for English if you want to do that. The backpack would not fit sideswipe, I would imagine. It is kind of huge. I mean, you could probably just hang it on there. I transformed this guy maybe five times now, both directions, to try to get at least a good feel or rhythm to it, to give you guys some good advice. But I would say that he does feel durable. Even the part here, the knee, that felt kind of or people are concerned about, I didn't have any concerns, but it does feel like it could at some point. And if it's getting loose, you can also tighten this up. If you flip this panel down, you can see there's a screw there, so you can tighten that up a bit. But overall, durability wise, paint's going to be paint, so that is what it's going to be. So yeah, let's get back to the last thing I was going to talk about. The last feature, well, I guess the last 2 features, are that these can pull out, and this guy can come in here. And oh, I forgot, this thing rotates too, and it has the little dial that the original toy had, which is kind of a cool throwback. Not really necessary, but you go ahead and slot this in to roller as well. So if you want to have some kind of weird double-decker thing, again, I don't remember this ever being a thing, but maybe it is. I'm sure somebody in the comments knows way better than I do. But the other benefit of doing that is you get this figure stand. So what you do is you look at Optimus' back, and you see these grooves on either side of his butt, and they align to these grooves here. What you need to do is this sliding joint here is supposedly, and I say supposedly, supposed to lock into one of the ratchets. Mine is actually kind of working, but that's because I modded mine, and I'll talk about that in my full review and show how I did it probably. Before it was not locking at all. Like I could not get it anywhere close to that. I think I was like this far out, like about this far out, and it was like barely doing anything. So I had to disassemble with these two screws and shave down a section. I'll do that at some point later. Oh, Toy Dojo's in the review. My sponsor, everyone. Thank you for always being a great sponsor, Toy Dojo. But yeah, I'll show how to mod this so that at least you get some locking. Like it still will come undone with some force, but I'll probably work on it a little bit more. So you can see there's only a little bit of a gap now. But with that, at least with this much, it'll hold that last joint in place. Similarly, it comes with one clear piece that does the same thing, but what this is used for is in conjunction with the Dinobite stand that we got for Beast Wars Dinobot. That can peg in here, and you can use it like that. Oh, there's one last feature that I totally forgot, the most important one. So if you bring this jetpack, it probably doesn't work with Sideswipe, but what you can do is flip this piece down, flip this tab down, this hidden tab, and you can plug it in to the trailer to have a awesome jetpack powered trailer. Maybe that's how it always like scoots out of there so fast when Prime transforms into robot mode. You don't see it because it has this badass. Can you put flames on the butt? Let me check. But yeah, maybe that's how this trailer was so quick to disappear from view. Oh, sadly, it does not fit in the butt. The screw hole is too big. I'm sorry about that. For all you guys who are hoping that would be the case. I'm kind of curious if it fits into rollers. Whoa, it does fit into roller. All right, I didn't know about that. All right, that's cool. Julius, is it worth the price tag? I'm gonna say that it depends. So the finish and articulation is really top notch on this guy. You got crazy butterfly joints. Oh, I didn't mention the butterfly. I did mention the butterfly joints, but I didn't show it when I was doing articulation. But you can see, like, this comes out super far, and you can have him come reaching across his body. He can almost do an arms cross pose if he wanted to, right? Like, that looks pretty cool. He has crazy articulation. The finish is really top notch. Even though you do have to worry about stuff chipping off and stuff like that. The overall quality is good. It does have a nice heft. So as far as the figure, I think he's one of the best MP figures we got, which is saying a lot. There are a lot of great MP figures. As far as overall quality, finish, and stuff like that, backpack aside and some, Ghibli stuff aside that I'm not a super fan of. But quality-wise and material-wise, I think he's really, really well done. That said, it's a hefty price tag. And while there's a ton of playability, like I've been going on for over an hour about all this playability, that's where a lot of this money is probably going to be going, right? So if you find that valuable in your collection, then yeah, I would say it's worth the money. For me personally, I don't think it's worth the price tag, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think it's too much. But it is Optimus Prime too, so you guys gotta kind of expect him to be a little bit more expensive. So yeah, for me, if I were to say, is it worth it for your average collector? I'd say probably not. I think the full asking price is only really worth it if you find value in all these other features, like the updated trailer, the new roller, the little minifigures. If you really love that episode with the clone Optimus Prime, like, you got to really be into it to really honestly, I think, say to yourself, this is worth, $450 US retail. If it was like the price of the original MP Takara release, which I think was like 300-ish dollars in Japanese, like that, I could live with that for sure. I think $300, 350 even, would be okay. But again, 450 is a big asking price. So, all right. So I think that's covered almost everything. I hopefully didn't forget any specific details, but if you have any questions at this point, I'll try to answer them now. Again, TM, thank you so much for collecting the questions. If you don't know TM Reviews, I do a lot of collaborations with him. We do our monthly Transformer news. So if you don't know about that, please check into that. We're also going to have a live discussion next Wednesday at 9 p.m. on his channel. I want to know if TE's trailer works. Well, TE doesn't have a trailer, but the port system for TE is different. It has, I think it has like 2 tabs or something like that. Like, is it this? I forget. I think it's like 2 tabs. So it wouldn't work. You would need to like have an adapter or something like that. But yeah, I would love to be able to use this trailer with TE Prime. All right. Julius Valdepenas, because my wife will kill me if she finds out. All right. Oh, Tony paid 320 shipped and thinks it's overpriced. I think 320 is a good price. Answer Juan Carlos. What does Juan Carlos say? Oh, hey Juan Carlos, how's it going? Can Transform Element carry the trailer? No, he cannot. Let's see who else we got here. All right, which one do I like better? So you just came late, so I'll repeat myself. This guy, the Transform Element one, is still gonna be my personal Masterpiece Prime. That said, it's not better in every way. Like if you look at this, I think as far as like it finished, look at the paint. It looks really great on this guy. This guy wins out in terms of paint, articulation. Even though this guy's no slouch in articulation, this guy definitely has extra articulation, and the transformation. Although I got this guy into a rhythm and a way to transform it that made sense, and I think a lot of people appreciated the video I did. This guy, I think once you do it once, it makes a lot of sense. Again, there's nothing crazy going on, so you feel comfortable with that, as opposed to this guy, which has a lot of things that are just kind of weird, and you got to transform things a certain way before it gets into place. And also like his Matrix Chamber way better. Like his Matrix Chamber looks spot on to the movie. Like look at that. That just looks perfect. It has the paint in there, has the full side sections, as opposed to what we see here. Like it's not even close there, right? And again, that may not matter to you, but for me it matters. Oh, I was about to take him away. My bad. What's up with the shoulder logo? This one? This is one from the animation. They always had this. Like it was just an outline for Prime. Come on, man. Don't you know your lore? Notice any flaws in the paint? So yeah, the flaw in my paint is right here. Came out of the box just like that. Even out of the box, I did see a lot of micro scratches on certain panels on the blue. I didn't see very much in the red. Or at all, but like, you know, if I wiped off my desk or my little shooting area, but if I didn't, you would have seen some blue and red flakes, definitely coming off, even though this was like like I said, fifth or sixth transformation. Oh man, questions are just coming. Yeah, Toy Doe just said go ahead and contact them so I can get a replacement piece. I actually don't know if this piece would be easily replaceable, to be perfectly honest, but Toy Dojo always hooks it up. Felipe also thinks that TE is a better one overall. Tony also thinks TE Prime needs paint. If TE Transform Element released this guy with a glossy paint and got rid of this stupid gray pieces here on the hip skirts with some white paint, I would instantly rebuy it and get rid of this one. And again, this guy would still the TE Prime would remain my Prime of choice. Yeah, they if they released it, I'd be super happy. I don't know. TM Reviews gave me the idea that we should send ours to Sean Love, a customizer, and get him to paint ours to look more like this. But I keep bringing this guy back up. I am going to do a full comparison where we can see each of the modes between the various MP Primes that we have out there. Oh, so the Juan Carlos, the head is actually not a head for Starscream. It's like kind of a shell, so it wouldn't fit onto any actual figure itself. Can you zoom in on the MP-44 open chest? Sorry about that. I can do that again. So, like I said, the matrix itself is the same mold as we got before with MP10. I think the color is a little bit different. I think the blue is like a metallic blue this time, as opposed to, I think it was like a jewel, like a translucent jewel before. But yeah, this chest is fine. If I didn't have Transform Element, I'd be like, yeah, this is a better upgrade from MP10. But after having the Transform Element one, this one definitely is subpar in the chest, matrix chest. Toy Doe just said they'll paint. Is that for free? All right, who else do we got here? What other questions you guys have? I'm not going to transform him back, just to let you guys know. Diecast parts on Prime. Jason, there are diecast parts. I don't know all of them, but he does have like a lot of inner workings here that are diecast. I think certain pieces, maybe in the legs, might be. But to be perfectly honest, I don't know. Oh, man, I got some paint scratches on my toes, too. But it is what it is. I mean, with paint, you're never gonna have a flawless figure, right? So I gotta get over it. Tony, there is some die cast for sure. Like some of these sections here, I believe are die cast. Like this part might be. I'm not sure, but some of the inner like joints, I believe, are die cast. Like this piece here is die cast for sure. But yeah, there's some die cast. It's not all over the place, but I think mostly on the inner workings of certain joints. Superhero landing pose. Man, I don't know if you're trolling me or not. Which way is more TE or MP-44? I don't have my scale near me. I'll go ahead and compare, but I can tell you just from lifting it that TE is heavier. Let's get his butt joint out. What is it, like this? Something like that. And then you can actually get more of the bend down as well but if you do that, he really just looks horrendous. So I think it's something like that. You can probably do better posing. Like TM says, go check out T-Man's reviews. He did a full one that came out earlier today, and he does some more dynamic posing because he actually edited his, as opposed to being lazy and doing a live stream like me, so I didn't have to. Okay, Felipe, I was just asking because I've said in the past that I hate the Iron Man pose. I think it's super cliche, and I hate when people ask me to do it. But I did it for you, just because I didn't know if you were trolling or not, and you weren't trolling. Would you like a G1 toy head sculpt and stickers? Pass. I'm not for me. The G1 toy head looks stupid. Yellow eyes do not look good. The arm stickers, I don't know if I like the arm stickers. I think I would prefer yellow here as opposed to the blue. But hopefully some of our fandom community, like Why am I blanking on his name? Toy Dojo. What is the guy's name who does the custom parts sometimes? What was the guy's name? He does custom plastic parts. He did like the Autobot logos for the different Omegas. See, I know I Still Functions is definitely trolling me right now. Yeah, Toy Dojo said toy version with chrome thighs. That is almost certainly gonna be one of those things. Michael and J Ream, yeah, both Michael and J Ream have done custom parts like that before. Like they did, I think Mike Soltis, I forget what his online handle is. He did replacement windows for Magic Square's chest, so he's done translucent plastic pieces before. So if there's a way to replace that, I'm sure he's probably already hard at work trying to get that for people so they can have yellow arrows on their forearms. Yeah, now I'm curious. How is this? I don't know how this... I guess you would have to remove this panel here. I'm not brave enough to just mess around with that to see if I can separate that piece. But theoretically, you should be able to do that and replace that piece there. All right, so we're coming up on an hour and a half. Hopefully you guys have any questions. You have already shared them. If not, go ahead and post them in the comment section later, and I'll try to get back. Tony, I have a lot of MP primes. I have, I think, all of the ones that came out recently. I used to have way more MP10 molds. I think I used to have, like, at one point, maybe 10 of the MP10 molds. So I got rid of most of them. We buy all our stuff from Toy Dojo whenever possible. How many grams? Jason, I don't have my scale with me right now. I'd have to run away from the room and do that. But I think T-Man said it was like 425 and J0. I thought, no, somebody else earlier. I thought it was, I thought it was you or somebody else who has this. Oh, no, it was J0, Jay0. I think he said it's something around 425 grams. Whatever that is in ounces. All right, so it looks like the questions have come to an end. It is getting late. Got work tomorrow. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the live stream review. Again, I tried to cover as much as possible. Oh yeah, Jason, it weighs way more than MP10. MP10 might be the lightest. No, actually, Magic Square might be the lightest. I'm not sure, but I'll do a detailed comparison. Oh no! Well, that just happened. It's okay. So somebody asked how he would handle if he fell from 10 feet. He didn't fall from 10 feet, but he did take that fall like a champ. So I will do a detailed comparison of these guys at a later date when I have the time. All four of them. That's the only reason I actually kept this Magic Square one this long. He's an okay figure, but I would have gotten rid of him long ago, but I owed you guys a comparison video. So I will make sure to do a comparison video of all of these molds so that you guys enjoy it. Hey, Alan, what's going on? Yeah, Fernando, a lot of people like how much their toys weigh. They find that having to do with quality. That's why a lot of people like Fans toys, even though, to be perfectly honest, I'm not a huge fan of Fan toys anymore. But let's see. One of the leg flaps won't plug into the knee? Oh, MP1? I do have MP1 somewhere. Maybe I will bring that out. No, mine has no issues plugging in, Alan. So sorry about that. Sorry to hear about your woes. If you bought it from Toy Dojo, they would help you out. Otherwise, you're gonna have to deal with your retailer or to card directly. Good luck with that, though. Juan Carlos, is MP10 is like a MP10 remold, Magic Square? I don't know if that's completely fair, but I would say he's the one that makes the the smallest leap forward from MP10. Yeah, so Alan, you're gonna have to deal with Amazon Japan then. Good luck with that. TM says he'll have his comparison up by Friday, which means I'm gonna do mine tomorrow just to beat him to the punch and make him look bad. All right, all right. Android, thanks for the thumbs up. If you guys like the review, please give it a thumbs up. I mean, that does help other people see it. It really doesn't help me in terms of monetization. I don't really care about that stuff. I really just want other people to be able to, you know, see what I did and really benefit from that, so that they can make a decision on their own. Like I said, this is just a live stream review I wanted to do very quickly. I will try to do a full one so that you guys can see my traditional transformations both ways. There are some tips and tricks going back to truck mode that will be useful. So all this stuff down here, plus some other stuff that's in the trailer, all this stuff is what you get with MP-44. So overall, really nice figure. It's really up to you whether the price is worth it or whether you think he's the best representation of Prime that we've gotten to date. I will say, though, I think he is probably one of the best MP figures that we've gotten from the official line to date. So, and again, that's saying a lot because we've gotten a lot of great figures. I don't think he has as much magic as maybe like the Inferno mold, but in terms of overall quality, finish, and everything like that, they are really ratcheting it up a lot. All right, let's see. Jason's here. One last question. You should do DX Chogokin Macross reviews. Yeah, right. No way. I cannot get into Macross at all. That would be crazy, and they're also impossible to get. Although Toy Dojo does have some Macross items. So if you do like Macross, go ahead and check out their selection as well. But yeah, he doesn't send them to me because Harmony Gold is always about that money, trying to get that scratch. I got a paint scratch on his thighs, so Amazon offered me a free replacement return and 10% partial refund. What? All right, well, all right, Toy Dojo, you're gonna have to beat that 10%. Just kidding, just kidding. All right. Well, that's really it for me, everyone. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Keep an eye out for reviews from me coming up, comparison reviews from me coming up. Don't forget, on Sunday, I will have a designer series review of, where is he? Give me a second. I'm going to have a live stream review with the designer from Ocular Max, and we're going to do a preview of this guy, Fraudo. The MP Swindle. So if you guys are very interested in that, if you guys like the live stream reviews, keep an eye out for Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll have AK, the designer, in the chat answering questions while I do a preview with some transformations for this guy here. All right? So hopefully I'll see you guys on Sunday. That's all for today, everyone. Have a good one.